All right, so we wanted to share some information about how to present yourself at the door and while you're actually pitching to get them to sign these petitions and what you would like to say, how you would like to present yourself, etc. First matter of business, let's pretend you're at the door. You're going to knock on the door. I personally like to stand back a little bit so that when they open the door, I'm not right there in their face. It feels a little confrontational. I usually knock on the door, stand back a few steps, and I actually turn sideways like this, and we'll give some examples here and some example pitches. Once you've knocked on the door, again, I like to step back a few feet, turn to the side. It just seems a little less confrontational. They open the door. Hey, sorry to bother you real quick. I'm just looking for, and then you will point to your phone and you'll have their name at the top of the phone. Kind of takes their attention off of you and a little bit more, you're kind of now standing a little shoulder to shoulder with them and you're both looking at your phone together. I'm looking for John Doe. I have him down as a registered voter. Is that you? At that point, they are going to say yes, that's them. And you're just going to quickly explain what you're doing on their door. So what I like to say is, what I'm doing is I'm helping out with a few candidates that are running for office. You may have heard of this candidate, and then say their name and say, what I'm doing is I'm collecting signatures for this candidate to help this candidate appear on the ballot in the upcoming election. Once this candidate has hit the threshold of signatures, we will inform you of what that threshold is, say 20,000 signatures. This candidate's name will appear on the ballot in the upcoming election. I like to inform the registered voter at the door that by signing this packet, they're not committing to vote for this candidate or that they're going to support them in any way other than by signing there saying that they're okay with that candidate having their name on the ballot in the upcoming election. So I inform them of that, and then I hand the packet out to them with the pen and just say, if you're willing to help get this person on the ballot, we'd appreciate your support. Once you've handed the registered voter the packet, it's important that you don't try and go inside. Often, people will say, come on inside, it's cold, and they'll want to have you sit down and act as if this is a long conversation that needs to be had about this. We highly recommend that you stay outside. It helps you move quicker. A lot of times once you get inside, they start to have a conversation and it just takes much longer to get the signature and get onto the next door. So we recommend staying outside. Make sure you have multiple pens on you. Sometimes they'll be in the middle of signing and the pen will run out, so make sure you have another pen handy to just be able to hand them so that they can continue to do that. We also recommend that when they are signing, oftentimes if you continue to talk to them, it distracts them and just slows them down. So sit in silence, let them read what they need to read, sign the packet so that it can get through them. Also, another really important thing is on the app, it will tell you if there are multiple registered voters within that home. Make sure that as they are filling that out or once they get done, call out whoever is on the app. So let's say it's John and Jane Doe at that home and you're speaking with John. Once John has finished signing, point out, say, hey, it looks like we also have Jane Doe in the home as a registered voter as well. Would you mind getting her and seeing if she would be willing to sign and help out as well? People will be nice with you, but what we are trying to encourage everyone to do is not spend a lot of time at that home that is unnecessary. Again, it will just slow you down, you're going to make less money, and you might get into long conversations that really you don't need to be going into in order to get the signatures that you need to get. So again, when you look at the app and you see that there's multiple registered voters within that home, make sure you're always asking if those people are home so that you can get, not only just that one signature, but also signatures from the wife, and sometimes they have children in the home that are registered to vote or parents. Get as many signatures from the registered voters within that home as possible. When you're at a door, it's important to find that balance between being persistent and not just taking the first no and turning around and walking away, but also not being over persistent. If you have a registered voter that has a strong opinion about a candidate, try once, try twice, don't just walk away after the first objection. But also, we're not there trying to force anyone to obviously sign this if they're not willing to, or if they have a candidate that they really do not like, they're most likely not going to sign the packet, so you don't need to try and force them. And in fact, something that you can do is if they see the first candidate that you have and they are immediately not wanting to speak with you or to sign the packet, you can say, no worries, if you don't want to support that candidate, that's totally fine. We have other candidates that we are helping out with as well. Find that balance between being persistent, pushing through objections, but not being overbearing or trying to convince someone to do this if they're not interested in signing. Above all, don't fight with anybody. Don't waste your time. If someone does have a very strong opinion about these candidates, they're probably not going to change their mind. And you're probably just going to waste your time trying to convince them. So don't do that. If they're willing to support and sign, and honestly, I would say 90–80% of people are going to be willing to sign with no problem. But for those 10 to 20% that don't want to, don't waste your time. You know, just get on to the next house, smile, be nice to them, and don't let it ruin your night. Stay positive and just know that you really are doing something good, and most people appreciate the hard work that you're doing out there by collecting these signatures and giving all of us more options when it comes to voting time.